This leads to lower prices for crypto, so don't ignore this signal. I'm talking about this right here, y'all. We have had 3 weeks in a row down for Bitcoin. As for the altcoins, it's not as bad. For the altcoins, we got 1 week down. But for the sake of Bitcoin, let's start with that. 3 weeks down, historically has not been a great sign, has not been a great omen for the crypto markets. As we see, the last time was back in January. And if you were there in January, you remember the market started falling off and we lost a lot of euphoria because we got a lot of euphoria. Let's see. In December and January. But then we got 3 weeks down. What happened after that? We tried to get one push up and then it fell back down again to lower lows. Okay, let's see what happened over here. Back in June of last year, we had 3 weeks down. We got a 4th week down before a move up, but it was not able to regain a higher high. And then it fell down again. And so the market was trading sideways for a very long time here. But even worse, even before that, April 2024, this was right after the March peak. To the OGs that were in the market back then, man, this was a long, drawn-out time here. We got 3 weeks down, then a 4th week down. 5th week, we got a capitulation, a recovery, but we were not able to recover this level, this 72,000 or 73,000, for a very, very long time. Let's look at how long. I mean, this was brutal for the OGs that were, in the market back then. This was a good 217 days approximately that the market did not get a higher high. That was rough. And then if we go all the way back to July 2023, 2 years ago, 3 weeks down, and then tried to get a recovery. So if it gets a failed recovery on the 4th week, we could have a big dump, like it did in 2023. It also happened. Let's zoom in here. It also happened over here, May 2023. 3 weeks down. We tried to push up again, and then it fell off again for a lower low. It also happened 3 weeks down. Now, so it's not guaranteed every single time that it's going to have lower lows because here, but this was a very unique scenario. February 2023, I was in the market back then. Comment below if you were in the market during the Silicon Valley Bank collapse, because we had 3 weeks down. But on the 3rd week was a major capitulation event because the Silicon Valley Bank collapsed. Everyone was terrified. I was in the market. The USDC stablecoin was untethering, and the so-called stablecoin went from $1 down to like 80 cents, and it was terrifying. Luckily, I shoved some of that USDC into Bitcoin. I bought the fear, though it was terrifying and it was difficult to sleep. But look at this major green candle. So if we have an extreme fear event on the 3rd week, that could be a capitulation and we could be heading upwards. So that's something to note. But, back here last week, we didn't get a major capitulatory event like that. So I wouldn't really compare that. Of course, the bear market in 2021 started with 3 weeks down. That's something to note. COVID was a major capitulatory event, 3 weeks down, but we recovered from there because it was that major worldwide event. Let's see. September 2019, 3 weeks down. Tried to recover, went to a lower low, tried to recover again. It could not get above this previous peak, so it dumped again. So the markets did not get a higher high for a really long time. And this was brutal. It took 322 days. It almost took an entire year to recover from that. And that was including the COVID crash. 2017, though, was way more bullish. As we got 1, 2, 3 weeks down in September 2017, we recovered from that. So it is possible. Not saying it's not possible. Even March 2017, 1, 2, 3 weeks down. This sort of still rang true. 1, 2, 3 weeks down. Tried to recover. Got another final dump. But it looks like a very capitulatory event. I don't recall. Actually, it wasn't in the market in April 2017. I don't recall what happened then, but it looks like a major capitulatory event, and then it recovered. So it took about 1, 2, 3 weeks to make a higher high. Actually, no, about 4 or 5 weeks. July 2016, 1, 2, 3 weeks down, but it looks like there was a lot of buyers that stepped in with this. There's a major wick down. A lot of buyers bought that up. And so it was able to recover, but slowly. It wasn't able to reach a higher high until really about 98 days later. Okay, so overall, it's not super bullish. It's, it typically can lead to lower prices for crypto in the coming weeks. Hopefully this doesn't last for like it did back here in May. January to May, where it took 105 days to get a higher high. Hopefully we don't have that scenario. Just for fun, where would that take us if it took 105 days? Let's see, just for fun. That would take us all the way up to November. Okay. That's very interesting. November. Remember, November. Because from what I've seen, things are actually looking quite bullish in November with the astrology. We talk a lot about astrology on this channel. Hopefully you're not an astrology skeptic, but if you are, that's fine too. Just let us explain. Astrology is looking good in November, but also the technical analysis, at least some of the macro charts, some of Rahul's pals' macro market analysis is looking really good in November for a possible explosive move. So man, it actually is possible that we could have that long through September and October, maybe first part of November, to create a higher high. Certainly possible. I cannot count that out at all. In fact, I'm considering that possibility right now. Okay. Another thing to note, another major concern is these blue lines on the chart. I've been talking about this over and over and over again. Got to keep beating a dead horse because some of y'all don't watch all my videos, so I got to keep reminding some of y'all who are new here, jumping on the YouTube channel. Look at these blue lines. When we get, well, actually, let's go back in history. We get this blue line. The last time was March 10th, 11th of this year, and we got a 30% dump. And we go back even further. What happens when we get the blue lines? We get a bear market, or in May 2021, we get a massive dump for Bitcoin and crypto. The altcoins certainly did not like this as well. The altcoins get crushed even more than Bitcoin. That was a 50% dump we had in May 2021. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I'm also not counting it out. That would be brutal if it did happen. So we only have 4 more days until this hits. What did we get back in 2018? Massive bear market. What did we get back 2014? Massive bear market. Okay. That's just what's happened historically. Are we getting a bear market now? It's possible, but it doesn't look like it. And I've talked about this over and over again because we're not getting massive signs of euphoria. We're not getting extreme greed. The market is neutral today. We were getting a little bit of greed in August. But I mean, like, also the Google searches were not very high. We're not getting anything like we did back in 2021. So I don't think we've reached the market peak yet, especially because Ethereum just barely poked a new all-time high, and there wasn't even a lot of euphoria on that either. I mean, the Google searches for how to buy crypto and Ethereum Ethereum's been going down since August. But we didn't even get as much monthly searches for Ethereum, even compared to the last bull market. Not even close to the same amount of euphoria. So I don't think we're heading into a bear market. That's what I'm thinking. And in fact, I'm actually very impressed by how well the crypto market is holding up heading into this total lunar eclipse. I mean, so Bitcoin peaked 25 days before this total lunar eclipse, which is coming up on September 7th, United States time. Only 4 more days, guys. And Bitcoin's already showing some strength heading into this. Now, that doesn't mean that we're going to go up from here. In fact, I'm leaning more on the bearish side. I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll go up a little more, but I'm definitely leaning towards a further correction. And it could even go, I mean, we could look at some levels, at least for Bitcoin. We take a Fibonacci line from the peak back in August down to this lower June 22 line, and we get a 50% level right here at 111. We're just barely above that right now. But if we zoom out, when in doubt, zoom out. And from the very peak of August all the way down to the lows of April, the Trump tariffs crash, we get a 50% level right here at 99. So it's even possible. It doesn't look like we're heading into 99 in the next 4 days, because then we would have to just get a super massive dump. I mean, it's possible, but the fact that we're only 4 days away, I would be a little bit doubtful. But there's also a chance that maybe we, later in September, we could even get some crazy capitulatory event. I'm definitely not counting that out. With these eclipses, we have 2 eclipses, and those eclipses can historically bring major world changes, major changes in our life, major karmic lessons, and big changes and turning points in the market. And I just showed you that with historically what's happened for Bitcoin. So that's another thing that's not not looking great for the bulls. And then another thing, this is super important, is we're looking at the 24-hour daily, the exchange volume and liquidations. We're only getting 249 right now, 249 billion, which is actually very low historically. And we're only getting, 166 million in liquidations. Typically, for a major turning point in the market, we want to see about 1 billion liquidations to bring a big market shift. We're getting Bitcoin was going up in the last few days. Maybe people are excited about that. We got to 112, but major warning that, if we don't have high exchange volume, then these pumps are often short-lived. All right, so yeah. I mean, a quick metaphor, maybe, this is just off the top of my head, is like, if you think of a rising tide, like all rising tides rise the boat. But if the tide is just a tiny bit of trickle of water, it's not going to be able to raise the boats. That's just a metaphor I just came up with. Pat myself on the back. That was not too bad. Not too bad of a little metaphor there. But let's look at the daily exchange volume. All jokes aside, we've got an uptick in July, which was very bullish, and it tried to make a higher high in August, and it was not able to. So that was actually slightly bearish divergence, as the exchange volume was getting a lower high and another lower high at the end of August. And Bitcoin failed to make that higher high. It did get barely a wick above, 124K, but it wasn't able to sustain that, obviously, as we're heading back down. And now the daily exchange volume is heading lower and lower. We were not able to make a higher low. Well, I guess this is a higher low compared to August 8th. This is the 7-day moving average for the daily exchange volume. But man, the fact that it's on a little bit of a downtrend here, it's not super great. But at least it's not down here. You know, it still could make a higher low. But just so far, it's not looking great. And then the fact that today, the 24-hour volume is not looking good. It's just not good overall. It's not super bullish in the short term, at least right now. If we did get some major events, in the next few days, this could change, and we'll take a look at that, and I'll keep you guys updated. We'll take a look at the total liquidations. If it gets up to 1 billion and crypto dumps, and then we see a major capitulatory event, I would actually flip very bullish. So we'll have to keep our eyes out and see what happens. Okay, what else shall we share today? Just wanted to hop on and just go over an update. Oh, we could definitely look at some of the astrology. Let me pull this up. So the September astrology, we do have this in the backdrop, a minor grand trine with Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus. I could explain this a little bit. Well, here's the Solana chart, but we have Pluto at 1 degree here. This is for the astrology enthusiasts. If you don't like astrology, you might want to tune off the channel now. But for those who like this stuff, look at Pluto's at 1 degree, Neptune's at 1 degree, and Uranus is at 1 degree. This is huge. This is the only time we're going to see this in our lifetime. And this is in effect for some time now. This is major. So Pluto's making a positive sextile to Neptune, and Neptune's making a positive sextile to Uranus. And Uranus, I know there's a lot of jokes. Uranus could make a trine to Pluto. Okay, there's a lot of jokes we could make here. So those are all very positive aspects, and this is a very powerful energy. Pluto can bring transformation, and Neptune brings spiritual oneness, and it can also bring euphoria as well. And Uranus brings these powerful new technologies of blockchain, crypto, and AI, all of these unbelievably powerful Pluto technologies that are coming in. And this is all going to create a massive, massive awakening and possibly a revolution and a major shift in human consciousness. That's going to last possibly generations. So this is really, really, really big energy here in the backdrop. So I like that overall, but that's very long term. That's like the upcoming decades, and it's starting now. So very powerful energy. We're all seeing that on the world stage with everything that's happening. Okay, September, and then for the really, really, really small astrology in comparison, September 3rd, this is very short term, very, very short term. September 3rd, Mercury square Uranus, slight negative, Mars square Jupiter, September 4th. September 5th, we have Uranus stationing retrograde. So you take a look at here, look at this planet, Uranus. Right now it's going direct, and it's going to station retrograde. You see how the number turns red here. That means it's, from the point of view of planet Earth, it's going to appear to go in the opposite direction. I could show y'all what that looks like if you want. Just let me know in the comments below. So it's going to go retrograde. Typically, we see major shifts in the markets. I've looked at historically how this impacts crypto. Typically, we see, either a major shift in sentiment, we could have a major shift in the Bitcoin dominance, or we could, either get a big kind of move up in the market or move down. It doesn't give clarity on which direction, but the fact that the things that I've already talked about, including the total lunar eclipse coming up on the 7th, and then the low exchange volume so far. Now, if that changes tomorrow, we'll have to talk about that. But so far, the daily exchange volume is looking to be very low right now. So far, it's not looking good with this Uranus stationing retrograde. Now, that happens in about 48 hours. All right, so major market shift. And then with this total lunar eclipse, take a look at my previous video where I went into deep dive into this total lunar eclipse, and I shared all of the details of the energies that we're dealing with. Big change, this total lunar eclipses bring big changes in our lives and in the markets. The moon is in Pisces and it's conjunct the north node within 3 degrees. This brings a karmic turning point because the north node is basically major karmic, kind of the direction that we're going with our karma. The moon in Pisces can bring a lot of emotional turning points in our life. It can bring emotional. I know one of my clients is going through major karmic relationship that she's finally ready to let go of. And that's been very emotional, but it's very spiritual. So the moon in Pisces is very spiritual. So kind of this spiritual oneness energy. So it can be very positive, but it can also be very emotional and even sad. But overall empowering for your highest spiritual truth. We also have the moon trining Jupiter within 3 degrees. This is opportunities for emotional growth, just like I was saying. And then Mars is squaring Jupiter within 1 degree. Now, this is a concern because there's a potential with that hard square aspect. Jupiter can be overly optimistic, and Mars can bring, well, it can bring new beginnings, but it can also bring high intensity. Mars is known as a malefic planet. So potential for excessive risk-taking, frustration, and impulsivity. Mars is very impulsive. Squaring Jupiter, like I said, can be overly optimistic. And so watch out for this very difficult, tricky energy here. We do not want to get overly optimistic at the wrong time and get wrong-footed. I don't think you do. So that is very important to be aware of. And once again, definitely check out my my previous 2 videos about the eclipse and the astrology for the month of September, if you want to dive deeper. Let's see what questions we have in the comments. The majority of crypto, Twitter, and YouTube thinks we are going down in September. Interesting. Market makers and smart money will typically push the prices in the opposite direction. Everyone wants a dip to buy lower. Interesting. Okay, that's interesting. Well, it's one thing to say that, but yeah, I'll keep that in mind. So, I mean, it definitely is possible. I think we will get a dump in September, but perhaps it could be a great buy the dip opportunity. So that's important to note. If the majority of the crowd already thinks that we're going down, then maybe we're going to go up. That's a good point. Problem is, normally I'd be on that train, but the problem is, also the partial solar eclipse. It's also possible that if Bitcoin's holding up so well right now, only 4 days from this total lunar eclipse, I still think we're going to get some sort of correction. But there's also a possibility we get a bigger correction with the solar eclipse on the 21st because it's a solar eclipse opposing Saturn and Neptune. And that Saturn can bring tough lessons in reality, and Neptune can bring confusion, which markets typically don't like. So there's even a possibility the correction is further to the second half of September. But we could absolutely still close September in the green. So I'm not counting that out as well. So I would say overall, it's a buy the dip opportunity. That's what I'm doing, but not financial advice. I can't give any financial advice. Crypto is risky. All of those things. You got to make your own decisions. Juan says, I think that the lunar eclipse being in tropical Pisces is a positive influence rather than negative. We shall see. So far it is quite positive, and crypto's holding up way better than I thought. Also, Rahu trine Lilith becomes exact here. This aspect is known to amplify risk appetite, and the forecast explicitly states it could lead to a local market peak around the 7th. Yeah, so we'll see. That'd be interesting if it actually gets a peak around the 7th. There was a time that Bitcoin, I think it was 2011, Bitcoin actually did peak into the total lunar eclipse, but it did get a huge dump afterwards. In fact, we could look at that. But this was before altcoins even existed. So I don't know if it'll play out similarly, but let's see. So we go all the way back here, guys. Look at this. Look how far back we're going. Look at this. We could actually get a scenario like this where, well, actually, no, we're not, because actually Bitcoin already dumped. But within 7 days, Bitcoin peaked and then started to dump. I guess we're not getting that for Bitcoin, but you know, maybe it's kind of close to this. But the concern is that look at how much dumping it got after. So not guaranteeing that's going to happen, but I'll keep you guys updated because that's, you know, that would not be good for the bulls if we just continue dumping. But so far, Bitcoin has started to dump 25 days before this total lunar eclipse. Yeah, so there's that. Also, Rahu trine Lilith becomes exact here. This could lead to a local market peak. Yeah. Definitely a second eclipse will be tough. Yeah. 2 eclipses in the same month. Tricky. All right. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Just another quick announcement is the Maximize Your Profits retreat that I will be hosting in Bali, the incredible, magical, tropical island here. It's incredible. The energy is incredible here. It'll change your life. This retreat is for crypto strategy and mindset mastery, happening November 1st through 7th. And you can click the link below to get all the information here. But I want to show you guys this retreat attendee from last year, and he's just giving you basically his experience of what happened. Also, some amazing clips of this amazing tropical spring water location we went to. We were bathing in the spring water, having an amazing gourmet lunch, just overlooking this incredible river view, and it was just phenomenal. Here, take a look at this, guys.
Giving you an idea what it's like at the Crypto Astro Retreat. As you can see, it's beautiful, and I think it's actually a really good place to, for me, it was a good primer for putting the crypto and astro together and making it make sense. A lot of people would find good strategies that they can use along the way to help them learn about both crypto and astrology. But coming here is just more than just the crypto and the astro. Built wonderful people around. You can experience Bali for everything it has, all while integrating into your strategies of how you'd like to take on the next bull market and even survive the bear market. So if you're looking for something more than just technical analysis and something new with the astrology and putting things together, I think they put it together pretty well, and at the very least you'll have a really good time. I would say is it.
Yeah, so Eric had a really good time. You saw in that one clip, he went on that swing. That was his huge swing that goes out right over a massive, it's like a huge ravine, like a huge valley almost, that he swung out on. And he was just like loving life. And we had some pictures there of the group. And we had an amazing retreat last year, so we're going to run it again this year. We only got 3 more spots left. The spots are going. And I have you can check out all of the information here. Look at what past attendees had to say here. Learned a lot about crypto astrology. Jeff said he enjoyed the accommodations and the friendly staff. So the staff is incredibly friendly. The Balinese, the local people here, is literally what makes this island so incredible. The culture here is rich, and you will feel it when you get here. It's hard to explain. But some people never want to leave. So some people want to eventually move here once they visit, and I totally agree because that's what I decided. I live here as well. Thank you for a wonderful, enlightening retreat, says Paul. And then, yeah, just take a look at all the information here. And when you sign up, you will get the opportunity to get a high-value private peak profit session with me. And you will get that with when you secure your deposit. All right. And in that session, we'll dive deep into your personal strategy so you can achieve your financial and life goals. And that's a super, super high value bonus that I'm gifting y'all to make it an easy decision. All right. So read all the information on the page, click the button, And I'll see you on the other side, guys. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. And I'll see you on the next one. John says he's happy to buy the dip. Me as well. Talk to you guys very soon. Peace.